What's a weird thing you find attractive in people? Mall Santa vibes. There's something unexpectedly captivating about a man who exudes that jolly old Saint Nick energy. It's not the typical image of attraction you see plastered on magazine covers, but there's a reason people love Mall Santas. They're warm, they're charming, and they make you feel like you've known them for years, even if you've just met them. Imagine a guy who looks like he could effortlessly slip into the role of Santa Claus. He's got that twinkle in his eye, maybe a bit of a belly, and an unshakable cheerfulness. He's the kind of person who makes you feel at ease, like you could sit with him for hours and talk about anything. He'd make a fantastic Mall Santa not just because of his looks, but because he's approachable, funny, and has that quiet confidence. And there's something so warm about that. You can picture him making kids laugh with a deep, hearty laugh, but then turning around and winking at you, letting you in on the little joke. It's not just the physical resemblance to Santa that makes this attractive. It's the aura of someone who can bring joy into any situation, even outside of the holiday season. And who wouldn't want a partner who can embody that kind of magic all year long? Imagine the stories, the laughter, and the good times you'd share with someone like that. The laugh that stands out. There's a special kind of magic in a laugh that doesn't quite fit into the typical, polite, well-mannered category. It's the kind of laugh that erupts without warning, wild, uncontrollable, and completely unfiltered. Maybe it sounds a bit like a hyena or a cross between a wheeze and a cackle, but there's something incredibly charming about it. It's a laugh that, once you hear it, you can't help but smile. It's unique, almost like a signature, their laugh. It doesn't matter if the joke was actually funny, or if you even understand what was said. The second you hear that odd, dorky laugh, you're hooked. You know those moments when you hear someone across the room just lose it in laughter, and suddenly, you're laughing too? That's the power of a weird laugh. It's infectious. It's one of those things that, even if you weren't paying attention to the conversation, once you hear that distinctive sound, your whole mood lifts, and before you know it, you're waiting for the next opportunity to hear it again. There's an authenticity in someone who isn't afraid to laugh loudly or awkwardly. They're not worried about how they look or sound, and that's what makes it so incredibly attractive. You just want to keep them laughing, just to see that unbridled joy again and again. Raspy voices. There's something hypnotic about a voice that carries a little bit of roughness, like each word is laced with depth and experience. A raspy voice isn't just an auditory experience, it's a whole mood. It's like listening to a story that's already seen 1,000 sunsets, a voice that holds the weight of untold secrets. Whether it's from years of life experiences, or it's just the natural way their vocal cords have formed, there's an undeniable allure in that gritty, slightly hoarse tone. Think of those iconic voices that stay with you long after the conversation is over: Christian Bale's deep Batman growl, or Shohreh Aghdashloo's rich, gravelly resonance. It's like their voice is telling a story even when they're not saying anything particularly profound. Every word comes out like it has weight, like there's a history behind it. And when someone with a raspy voice laughs, it's the best sound in the world. It's not just about the sound, though. A raspy voice gives off a vibe, rugged, yet gentle, strong, yet vulnerable. It's a perfect contradiction that pulls you in and makes you hang on to every syllable. There's a reason we remember those voices. They stay with us, lingering in our thoughts long after the conversation has ended. And every time they speak, it feels like you're being let in on something special. Passion for the oddest things. It's one thing to find someone attractive because they're passionate about common hobbies like music or sports, but there's a whole different level of attraction that comes from watching someone get absolutely lost in something truly unexpected. Maybe it's fossils, meteorology, or obscure foreign films from the 1960s. It doesn't matter what it is, because their enthusiasm is infectious. At first, they might hesitate to share their quirky interest with you, worried that you won't understand or that you might find it boring. But then, with just a little encouragement, they light up. Suddenly, you're learning more about trilobites than you ever thought possible, or you're hearing all about the subtle differences between types of rare collectible coins. It's not about the subject matter, it's about the way their face lights up, their hands moving as they explain every little detail with the excitement of a child opening presents on Christmas morning. Passion like that is rare, and it's incredibly attractive. It makes you want to dive in alongside them, to learn everything there is to know about this quirky subject just because their enthusiasm is so contagious. When someone loves something so much that they can't help but share it with you, it draws you in. Their passion becomes your passion, and suddenly, you find yourself fascinated by things you never thought you'd care about. And that's the kind of energy you want around you. Unique features and imperfections. We live in a world that often celebrates perfection, but there's something irresistibly captivating about a feature that breaks away from the norm. A crooked nose, a scar running across their cheek, or a gap-toothed smile. These are the things that make a person real. These so-called imperfections aren't flaws. They're stories etched into the skin, marks of a life well lived. They're the things that make someone unforgettable. Sure, symmetry and smoothness have their place, but a face that tells a story is far more intriguing. You look at someone with a big crooked nose, and you can't help but wonder about the journey that shaped them. There's a depth to their appearance that goes beyond the surface, pulling you in. These unique features make people stand out in a world where so many try to blend in, and that's what makes them so attractive. They're different, and in that difference, they become unforgettable. Instead of trying to hide what makes them unique, they wear it proudly, and that confidence radiates. When you see someone embracing their scars, their freckles, or their distinctive features, it shows a level of self-acceptance that is incredibly appealing. It's a reminder that beauty isn't about perfection, it's about owning who you are. Short guys and their dating advantage. For the shorter guys out there, being below 6 feet might seem like a challenge in a world obsessed with tall, dark, and handsome. But here's the hidden advantage: it filters out the shallow folks. If someone isn't willing to give you the time of day because you don't meet some arbitrary height requirement, then you're better off without them. It's like an automatic litmus test for quality dating prospects. What's left are the people who care about who you are beyond the superficial. Confidence is what really matters. When a shorter guy walks into a room, owning his height with a swagger that says, "I don't need to be 6 feet tall to be amazing," it's magnetic. People notice when someone carries themselves with confidence, no matter their height. And let's not forget, being short can also have its perks, like always having the perfect dance partner for slow songs or fitting comfortably in any airplane seat. Plus, there's something incredibly attractive about a guy who knows how to rock what he's got. Height is just a number. Personality, charm, and confidence are what really make someone stand out. So, for all the short kings out there, wear that crown with pride. The back of the neck. There's something so subtle, yet strangely intimate about the back of someone's neck. It's not the kind of feature you usually focus on, but when you catch a glimpse of it, whether their hair is pulled up or they're wearing a low-cut shirt, it's hard to look away. The neck is such a vulnerable area, one that people rarely think about, and maybe that's what makes it so intriguing. It's a place you might brush against accidentally, sending a small, electric shock of attraction through your body. There's a certain elegance in the line of the neck, the way it connects to the shoulders, hinting at strength, grace, and maybe a little bit of mystery. And when someone has a perfectly defined neck or a visible collarbone, it's like a quiet invitation to lean in just a little closer. It's the kind of attraction that sneaks up on you. You don't even realize it's happening until you're already hooked. The back of the neck is one of those spots that feels personal, private, like it's meant for someone who's paying attention to the little details. And when you notice it, it feels like you've been let in on a secret that makes you want to get even closer. Bright colors and unique aesthetics. When someone walks into the room with bright red hair, piercing green eyes, or a face full of freckles, they immediately capture attention. There's something so vivid, so unapologetic about their appearance that it feels like a splash of color in an otherwise black and white world. These vibrant features aren't just aesthetically beautiful, they radiate personality. Someone with striking, unusual looks often carries a sense of confidence, as if they know exactly who they are and are proud of it. And that's incredibly attractive. Bright colors, bold lips, fiery hair, they all suggest someone who's not afraid to stand out, to be different. They reject the ordinary in favor of something more daring, more vivid, more alive. It's as if their appearance is a reflection of their personality, vibrant, exciting, and full of life. And there's something irresistible about that. Whether it's their fiery red hair or their smattering of freckles, these features invite you to look closer, to appreciate the uniqueness that sets them apart from everyone else. Collarbones and defined features. There's an undeniable allure in the elegance of a well-defined collarbone. It's not the most obvious feature, but once you notice it, it becomes impossible to ignore. The way a collarbone subtly shifts under the skin as someone moves, the way it catches the light, there's a quiet beauty in that. It's a feature that hints at both strength and grace, a perfect balance of softness and structure. And when you catch a glimpse of it, whether through a low-cut shirt or as someone pulls their hair up, it feels almost intimate. The collarbone is one of those features that isn't often flaunted, but when it's visible, it's mesmerizing. There's something about the way it curves, about the way it hints at the rest of the body, that makes it incredibly attractive. It's not flashy or overtly sexual, but it's beautiful in its simplicity. It's the kind of feature you want to trace with your fingers, to feel the smoothness of the skin and the sharpness of the bone beneath. And that makes it one of the most subtly alluring parts of the body. Quirky confidence. Confidence is always attractive, but quirky confidence? That's a whole other level. It's the kind of confidence that doesn't just come from knowing you look good or that you're good at something. It comes from knowing that you're a little different and embracing it. Maybe they wear strange, colorful outfits that don't match, or they laugh at their own jokes, even when no one else gets them. It's the kind of person who proudly owns their awkwardness, their eccentricities, their quirks, and isn't afraid to show the world who they are. When someone has quirky confidence, it's not about fitting in, it's about standing out and doing so with pride. It's magnetic. You find yourself drawn to them, not because they're perfect, but because they're real. They make you feel comfortable in your own skin because they're so comfortable in theirs. And there's something incredibly attractive about someone who can laugh at themselves, who doesn't take life too seriously, and who isn't afraid to be a little weird. Emotional maturity. There's nothing sexier than someone who knows how to handle their emotions. In a world where tempers flare and drama seems to be around every corner, emotional maturity is like a breath of fresh air. Imagine being in a heated situation, maybe an argument or a moment of high stress, and instead of losing their cool, they take a deep breath, pause, and handle it with grace. They don't yell, they don't throw things, they don't let their emotions get the better of them. Instead, they calmly assess the situation, walk away if needed, or de-escalate things with a well-timed apology. It's not just about being calm under pressure, it's about knowing when to let things go, when to talk things out, and when to simply walk away. Emotional maturity shows a level of self-awareness that not everyone has. It's a sign of someone who's in control, who doesn't let small things throw them off course. And that's incredibly attractive. It's not just about avoiding drama, it's about creating a sense of safety, of stability, of knowing that you can rely on them to handle things with grace and poise. Glasses and intelligence. Glasses have long been a symbol of intelligence, and for many, that's part of what makes them so attractive. There's something about someone wearing glasses that suggests they spend their nights curled up with a good book, or they're constantly analyzing the world around them. Maybe it's the way they absent-mindedly push their glasses up the bridge of their nose while deep in thought, or the way the frames highlight the intensity of their gaze. Glasses can take someone from cute to intensely attractive in an instant. They add a layer of sophistication, of thoughtfulness, that's hard to resist. And it's not just about the look. It's about what glasses represent. They suggest someone who values learning, who spends time thinking deeply about things, who's always curious about the world. And that kind of intellectual allure is irresistible. It makes you want to sit down and have long, thoughtful conversations with them, to dive into their world and learn what makes them tick. Freckles and scars. There's something so charming, so human about freckles and scars. Freckles are like little constellations scattered across someone's skin, each one unique, each one telling its own story. They add character, personality, and a touch of whimsy to someone's appearance. Scars, on the other hand, are a testament to a life lived. They're the marks we carry from the experiences that have shaped us. Whether it's a small scar from a childhood accident or a more prominent mark from surgery or injury, scars are a reminder that we've been through things, that we've faced challenges and come out the other side. There's a strength in scars, a story in every mark. They're not something to hide, they're something to celebrate. And for many, freckles and scars aren't just attractive, they're fascinating. They invite curiosity, making you want to learn the stories behind them. They're a reminder that we're all a little imperfect, and that's what makes us beautiful. Stretch marks and cellulite. In a world obsessed with smooth, flawless skin, there's something incredibly refreshing about someone who embraces their stretch marks and cellulite. These so-called imperfections are a testament to growth, to change, to the journey our bodies have been through. Stretch marks are like the lines on a map, showing where we've been and how far we've come. Cellulite is just another texture, another way our bodies show their uniqueness. These are the marks of real life, of bodies that have grown, stretched, and lived. And there's something so beautiful about that. There's a softness, a vulnerability in someone who embraces their stretch marks and cellulite without shame. It's a reminder that our bodies don't have to be perfect to be beautiful. They're a reflection of the lives we've lived, the experiences we've had, and the strength we carry. And for many, that's far more attractive than any airbrushed ideal. Crooked teeth and goofy smiles. There's just something so endearing about a smile that isn't perfectly straight or meticulously aligned. When someone has crooked teeth, it's like their smile has a story, a unique charm that's all their own. It's the kind of smile that catches you off guard in the best way possible. It's goofy, sure, but that's exactly why it's so irresistible. It feels genuine, unpretentious, and full of personality. You look at someone's crooked teeth, and you can't help but think that they probably don't spend hours in front of a mirror obsessing over perfection, and that kind of confidence is hot. It's not about striving for that picture-perfect Hollywood smile, it's about the way their smile makes you feel. It's infectious, making you want to smile right along with them. In a world where so much emphasis is put on straight, blindingly white teeth, a crooked smile feels real, human, and approachable. It's the kind of smile that makes you think, this person doesn't take themselves too seriously, and that's incredibly attractive. Scars that tell a story. Scars aren't just marks on someone's skin, they're a testament to a life lived. Every scar has a story, a memory etched into the body, and that's what makes them so captivating. When you see someone with a scar, you can't help but wonder what happened. Was it from a childhood adventure gone wrong? A surgery that saved their life? A wild, unforgettable night? Scars give a person character, showing that they've been through something, that they've survived. There's a quiet strength in scars, a vulnerability that makes someone feel real and approachable. They're not trying to hide their past, they wear it on their skin. And there's something deeply attractive about that level of honesty, about being able to embrace the things that society might label as imperfections. When you're with someone who has scars, it feels like you're getting to know the deeper layers of who they are, beyond the surface. It's like their body is telling a story, and you want to hear every chapter. Warrior women and their power. There's something undeniably powerful about women who embody the spirit of a warrior. Think of those fierce characters you see in shows like Vikings, dirt on their faces, war paint streaked across their skin, their hair braided tightly, and their muscles rippling as they wield swords and axes with ease. It's not just about physical strength, it's about their confidence, their raw, unapologetic power. These women aren't afraid to get their hands dirty, to fight for what they believe in, and to stand their ground. There's an allure in that toughness, in their ability to be both strong and beautiful at the same time. The sweat, the armor, the battle scars, they all add to the appeal, creating an image of someone who is both fierce and independent. It's the kind of attraction that goes beyond the surface, tapping into something primal. You see a warrior woman, and you're drawn to her strength, her courage, and her ability to face whatever comes her way without backing down. It's not just about the weapons she carries, it's about the fire inside her, the determination that makes her unstoppable, the charm of awkwardness. There's a certain magic in someone who's a little socially awkward but carries it with an "I don't care" attitude. It's like watching someone who's unapologetically themselves, no matter how clumsy or out of place they might seem. They might trip over their words or stumble through a conversation, but they do it with a sense of ease, as if to say, "Yeah, I'm awkward, so what?" And that's what makes them so attractive. There's no pretense, no need to fit into anyone's idea of cool or suave. Instead, they embrace their quirks, their oddities, and that self-acceptance is incredibly magnetic. It's endearing when someone can laugh at themselves, when they can be goofy and awkward without worrying about how they're being perceived. You feel comfortable around them because they're so comfortable in their own skin. You don't have to put on a show or pretend to be someone you're not. Their awkwardness gives you permission to be your authentic self too, and that's where the real connection happens. Hands and the power of touch. There's something deeply intimate about hands, the way they move, the way they feel, the way they touch. When you're attracted to someone's hands, it's about more than just their physical appearance. It's about the promise of touch, the connection that hands represent. Hands can be soft and gentle, or strong and firm. They can be the hands that create art, fix cars, or cradle a loved one's face with tenderness. The right pair of hands can tell you so much about a person, whether they've worked hard, whether they're creative, whether they're nurturing. There's something about the way hands move that can be incredibly attractive. Maybe it's the way their fingers wrap around a coffee cup or the way they gesture when they talk. Or maybe it's the thought of those hands on your skin, the way they would feel as they brush against you. Hands are so expressive, and that's what makes them so alluring. When you're attracted to someone's hands, it's like you're drawn to the way they interact with the world, the way they might interact with you. Big ears and the beauty of imperfection. There's something oddly attractive about a guy with big ears. Maybe it's because they stand out, giving him a unique, memorable look that sets him apart from the crowd. Big ears might not be what society typically defines as conventionally attractive, but that's exactly what makes them so endearing. They give a person character, a certain quirkiness that you can't help but find cute. It's like they're a physical representation of someone who's a little different, a little outside the norm, and that's what draws you in. Big ears make someone memorable, and in a world where so many people blend together, that's incredibly appealing. You look at a guy with big ears, and you can't help but smile because there's something charming about the way they stick out. It's a feature that makes him uniquely him, and that's more attractive than any perfectly proportioned face. The allure of armpits. It might sound strange to some, but there's something undeniably intimate about armpits. They're not the first thing you think of when it comes to physical attraction, but when you're close enough to someone to notice their armpits, it means there's a level of closeness and vulnerability between you. Armpits are one of those hidden, often overlooked parts of the body, and maybe that's why they're so intriguing. They're private, personal, and only revealed in moments of intimacy or relaxation. There's something raw and human about armpits, no pretension, no attempt to be perfect. And maybe that's what makes them attractive. They're real, unfiltered, and a reminder that attraction isn't always about what's traditionally seen as sexy. Sometimes, it's the things that aren't immediately obvious, the things that are hidden away, that end up being the most alluring. The gap tooth appeal. There's a special kind of charm in someone who has a gap between their front teeth. It's one of those features that stands out immediately, making their smile distinctive and unforgettable. A gap tooth gives someone a playful, almost mischievous look, like they're always on the verge of saying something witty or funny. It adds character to their smile, making them look approachable and down to earth. There's something incredibly attractive about a feature that isn't considered traditionally perfect because it feels more real, more human. A gap tooth is one of those quirks that makes a person stand out, and that's what makes it so appealing. You know that their smile is one of a kind, and every time you see it, it makes you want to smile too. Protruding veins and strength. There's something about protruding veins on hands and arms that just screams strength and vitality. It's like a physical manifestation of someone's fitness, their health, their power. When you see someone with pronounced veins, you can't help but think of all the work they've put into their body, all the effort that's gone into staying fit and strong. There's an inherent masculinity in it, a raw, primal appeal that taps into something deep within. It's not just about the appearance, it's about what those veins represent. They show that this person takes care of themselves, that they've put in the time and effort to be strong, and that's incredibly attractive. Whether they're gripping a weight at the gym or simply holding a coffee cup, those veins are a reminder of the strength that lies just beneath the surface. The sexiness of a little bit of meanness. It might sound counterintuitive, but there's something incredibly sexy about a woman who's just a little bit mean and impatient. It's not about being rude or hurtful, it's more about that fiery spark, that confidence to express what she wants without sugarcoating it. She knows what she wants, and she's not afraid to show a little irritation to get it. There's a strength in that, a refusal to be meek or overly accommodating. And that confidence? That's hot. When someone isn't afraid to be a little blunt, a little demanding, it shows that they're not going to be pushed around. They're in control of their world, and that kind of assertiveness is undeniably attractive. You can't help but admire someone who knows how to stand up for themselves, even if it means ruffling a few feathers. The confidence to criticize. There's something incredibly attractive about someone who isn't afraid to call out the flaws in their own community, race, religion, or organization. It shows a level of integrity, of honesty, that's hard to come by. It's easy to blindly support your group, to defend them no matter what, but it takes real courage to stand up and say, this isn't right. When someone can criticize their own, it shows that they care more about doing what's right than about being blindly loyal. It's a sign of someone who thinks critically, who doesn't just go along with the crowd, and that's incredibly attractive. It's a sign of strength, of independence, of a willingness to stand up for what's right, even when it's not easy. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment and follow for more stories.